how do you make sure that as you're going through this whole process, you're not over-complicating it, right? Because you're going to start thinking about that journey. You're going to think about all the things that could happen, all the ways you should possibly handle it. Hey, what do we do for this product or for this segment of customers or for et cetera? Like, it could get very hairy and complicated, and maybe that could be detrimental. I don't know. How do you keep this under control?
Yeah, I help a lot of different companies actually create the customer journey map. That would be like our first step, or like a lot of requests are about, can you help us with that? And so the one thing that I have to kind of push back on is if they have like different personas or different customer types, that you kind of want to do everything at once. The problem with that, of course, and the risk with that is that it's completely overcomplicating everything. So the first step that I always recommend doing is like, do one generic one. So first of all, you'll have this common language across all personas, all different types of engagement models. So you might have your big customers and small customers, different persona. You could overcomplicate it and end up having like 9 different customer journey maps. You want to avoid that.
Before we continue, don't forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel and smash that notification button so that you don't miss out on any new videos.
So you start with the one, and then you really think hard about which ones do I absolutely need to have another shade of gray here because it's a different team that handles the smaller accounts, or I would have to cut down significantly on the activities or change them significantly because it's a lower engagement model. That's it. If you do more than that, think about this. You will need to maintain all those customer journeys and then include them all in your tech stack for customer success. And then any change you will need to make in both your documentations and your software. So unless you have a little army of like 5 different CS ops managers, that's all they do all day long is just do these type of things, you want to be very careful about how many flavors are you going to create for your customer journey map.
It sounds like you just created a couple positions at their companies. Also, I can't only imagine like how many KPIs you could possibly keep track of if you were doing it that way. That sounds like it would be an absolute nightmare. Nothing that I would want to do. Brian, would love to hear your thoughts about this. How do you keep it simple, man?
If you liked what you've heard so far, that's awesome. More coming in a second here, but in the meantime, I want you to click that like button so that YouTube knows that this is great content and you can start sharing it with others.
Now, overcomplication, has 2 definitions to me. One is sort of what Irit said, right? If you try to figure out every single scenario your customer goes through, it's not going to go well, right? Because customers have 10 different scenarios, and if you have 1,000 different customers, do the math on that, how many different scenarios you can have. So really try to look at the common scenarios, look at what most of your customers, sort of the 80-20 rule, go through. The second definition for me, overcomplicating it, is when you put in solutions in a particular stage that are not best for the customer. They might be really good for you, but they're not good for the customer. The one quick example I'll share that I've seen are automated renewal emails. These emails that some folks get that say, hey, congratulations, you renewed with us for the next year at X amount of dollars. We have a lot of machines in today's world, but the buying process is still very much a person or people selling to a person or people. So in this particular case that we saw, they had sort of overcomplicated it by almost undercomplicating it because it didn't work for the customer, it worked for them. And that, in a renewal sense, right, you need to be having that conversation with your customer. Go back to the beginning of the process. Make sure that you're looking for those expansion opportunities, those onboarding opportunities. So make sure that whatever you design in your journey map, that it fits what the customer needs first and then what you need second.